Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer on the Adjective Verb Engine v0.1. If you've ever found yourself totally stuck trying to make fuzzy, descriptive data actually measurable, well, you're in the right place. This is a highly specific, rigidly designed, systems-level tool, and it has one core purpose: transforming subjective, qualitative language into hard, operational action signals.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at predictions of behavior, the system position, the structural logic, registries and drift prevention, and finally, operational interpretation. Let's jump right into it. Starting off with Section 1, predictions of behavior, which is really the core premise of this entire engine.
So here is a profoundly simple, but honestly kind of surprising premise to completely shift your perspective. Adjectives are compressed predictions of behavior. Think about that for a second. We usually treat adjectives as these passive little words, right? Just describing how an object looks or feels. But this engine forces us to realize they're actually hiding a forecast. They literally compress expected behavior into a single compact word.
Watch what happens when we actually apply this idea. If we take surface descriptions, words like scarce, liquid, or risky, and we extract their hidden actions, we get compete, move, and discount. When we stop treating these words as just fuzzy descriptions and start treating them as active, hard signals, our entire operational analysis completely changes. We shift from passively asking, "What is it like?" to aggressively asking, "What action does this actually trigger?"
Moving on to Section 2, the system position, or exactly where this engine fits.
So you might be wondering, where exactly does this plug in? Well, you'll probably recognize our existing flow. ABC is what exists, 1, 2, 3 is what matters, and XYZ is what now. Now, this adjective verb engine, it is absolutely not some massive new framework that's going to replace your whole workflow. No way. It's actually a really narrow infrastructure layer that sits quietly right inside that 1, 2, 3 layer. Its sole job is just to feed cleaner, action-oriented data into the rest of the flow by translating those tricky descriptive words.
And the engine's reliability actually comes from its incredibly strict boundaries. Notice what's intentionally excluded here: nouns, outcome logic, broader AOS expansion, and crucially, new decisions. This engine absolutely refuses to make decisions for you, which, honestly, is probably a huge relief. It strictly handles vocabulary mechanics, so we're talking plain meanings, hidden verbs, and confidence logging. Literally nothing more.
All right, Section 3, the structural logic, which is all about mapping meaning.
Picture this like a rigid, linear assembly line. Every single adjective has to travel down it, and it absolutely cannot skip steps. We start with the adjective itself, then we define its plain meaning, extract that hidden verb, assign a confidence tier, and finally output a structural integrity status. This strict, step-by-step progression is what forces a fuzzy word to transform into a valid, usable verb that we can actually use for hard operational reasoning.
Next up is Section 4, registries and drift prevention. Let's look at the architecture.
To prevent our language from just becoming super subjective over time, the system locks vocabulary down using 3 interconnected registries. The O1 adjective registry is your main mapping table, but the O2 verb registry, that is the true hero here. It acts as the ultimate gatekeeper. It's a strictly controlled list of allowed verbs. If a mapped verb doesn't exist in that registry, the adjective is immediately flagged as invalid. Boom. That is exactly how we actively stop semantic drift. And finally, the O3 confidence log just tracks overall usage.
Now, these registries aren't just high-level conceptual theories. They are literally bound together by strict spreadsheet lookup formulas. A simple VLOOKUP ensures that the confidence log stays perfectly synchronized with the adjective registry's validity checks. By pulling data directly across the sheets, the system guarantees zero breakage. The language is structurally, permanently locked down.
Which brings us to Section 5, operational interpretation. Let's see the engine in action.
Imagine you're analyzing an asset, or maybe a market, and the surface description is liquid. Without this engine, liquid is kind of just a vague state of being. But run it through the engine, and you're forced to recognize the hidden verb, which is move. Operationally, this means the object can likely convert into a transaction quickly. So, liquid is no longer just a trait, it is a measurable expectation of movement.
Or, take the word scarce. If an object is scarce, it inherently predicts urgency. The engine extracts the operational verb compete. And why is that?
Because the operational reality is that buyers are going to bid aggressively due to replacement friction. Scarcity isn't just a fact, it's an undeniable signal that competition is imminent.
And what about when a business or a vehicle is deemed risky? Well, the implied action there is discount. This explicitly tells us that the market will demand a lower price, or maybe require deeper inspections, demand warranties, or honestly just trigger total avoidance. We aren't just noting the risk anymore, we're actually anticipating the exact market reaction. Ultimately, the mandate for this approved build is crystal clear. It improves the existing system by making descriptive language measurable, testable, and structurally consistent. By restricting its scope entirely to vocabulary mechanics, it provides an incredibly high reliability, low-risk tool for literally any analyst out there.
So, as you return to your own systems and operational analyses today, I want to leave you with this thought. What action is hidden inside the adjectives you use every single day? Are you just accepting fuzzy, qualitative descriptions, or are you finally ready to extract the hidden verbs that predict true behavior? Thanks for exploring this framework with me today.